There's a room a man builds inside his head. He builds it long before he meets her. He furnishes it in the dead of night, in those hollow moments between ambition and despair. The walls are papered with half-remembered dreams and the faint, sweet scent of a future he feels he is owed. The single window looks out not onto a landscape, but onto a reflection of his own curated loneliness. It is a shrine, a beautiful, suicidal piece of architecture, and it is empty. This is the first truth, the one that tastes like rust and honey. The trap is not her creation, it is yours. You are the architect, the builder, and the first willing prisoner. You walk through your days feeling incomplete. A phantom limb where your purpose should be. A quiet, high-frequency hum of anxiety that the noise of the world never quite drowns out. You tell yourself it's the job, the city, the weight of a world spiraling towards some glittering, meaningless oblivion. But the story you whisper to yourself under the sheets is different, isn't it? The story is that a key exists. A key in the shape of a woman. A key that will not only unlock the door to this empty room, but will step inside, turn on the lights, and in her incandescent presence, finally make the place livable. She arrives. Perhaps at a crowded bar where the laughter sounds like breaking glass, or through the cold blue light of a screen, an algorithm's ghost. Her eyes hold a particular kind of light. Her voice has a cadence that seems to smooth out the jagged edges of your thoughts. And in that moment, you don't see her. You can't. You see the key. You see salvation from the terror of your own freedom. This is the mechanism of the trap, so elegant in its cruelty. She doesn't have to be a sorceress when you've already mixed the potion and are begging for a sip. She need only reflect the shape of the void you present to her. Is your void a need for a mother? She will become nurturing, her hands smelling of cinnamon and gentle correction. Is it a need for a muse? She will become an enigma, a creature of chaotic beauty, her texts arriving at 3 a.m. like prophecies from a broken oracle. A need for a mirror to your own strength. She will become delicate, admiring, a porcelain doll for you to protect from a world you secretly fear yourself. Erich Fromm knew this. He saw a modern man not as a seeker of freedom, but as a terrified refugee fleeing from it. The weight of true, untethered solitude, the responsibility of creating your own meaning from scratch, is unbearable. So we seek to merge, to fuse, to become a we, so we no longer have to face the terrifying singularity of I. Love becomes not an act of giving from a place of strength, but a desperate act of self-annihilation. You offer her the keys to your kingdom, not out of generosity, but because you can no longer bear the burden of the crown. There's an old piece of forgotten folklore from the waterlogged villages of the north about the Keris maiden, a spirit that had no face of her own. She would wander the mists between houses, and whichever lonely man stared at her the longest, she would slowly, painstakingly, steal the face of the woman from his deepest desires. He would see his perfect love, his soul's missing piece, and invite her in. She would be everything he ever wanted, until the day he realized his home had no mirrors left. She had consumed every reflection, and his own face was now a stranger's. He had given her so much of his ideal that he had nothing of himself left. We laugh at such primitive fears, don't we? With our attachment theories and our peer-reviewed studies from 2024 showing how limbic resonance synchronizes partners' nervous systems. Yet, we are still staring into the mist, begging the faceless spirit to wear the mask we've designed for her. She senses this. Oh, she senses this on a level that defies language. She feels the gaping, hungry emptiness of the room you've built for her. And the trap springs not when she chains you, but when she willingly, perhaps even lovingly, steps inside the cage you constructed, takes the key from your trembling hand, and locks the door from the inside. She agrees to play the ghost in your machine. And for a time, it feels like heaven. A warm, well-lit, predictable paradise. But the air is getting thin, and the only window, you begin to notice, is starting to look more and more like a mirror. So I ask you, as you sit there in the dark, the glow of this screen painting shadows on your face, who is she? The phantom you've been waiting for. What is the precise architecture of the cage you have so painstakingly built? Don't tell me her name. Tell me what void she was meant to fill. Go on. Confess the shape of your own beautiful wound. I dare you. Her chains are forged from the very pity she inspires. The curtain rises on a play you don't remember auditioning for. There you are, center stage, bathed in a soft, forgiving light. You're playing the part of the rock, the steady hand, the unburdened shoulder. Your lines are few, but delivered with a quiet, masculine gravity. I'll handle it. Don't worry about it. It's okay, I'm here. A brilliant performance. You're winning awards in a theater of one. And opposite you stands the leading lady, playing the enchanting Calamity. She is a masterpiece of curated fragility. Her strength lies in her professed weakness. Her power is in her perpetual, beautiful, disarming need. She trips, and you catch her. She weeps, and you are the dam that holds back the flood. She is chaos in a silk dress, a storm in a teacup. And you are her anchor. It's a seductive role, isn't it? To be the anchor in someone else's tempest. It gives you weight. It gives you purpose. This is the second truth. The one that feels like velvet handcuffs. The control she gains is not through domination, but through a masterful, often unconscious, performance of vulnerability. It is a psychological judo throw. She uses the full weight of your own protective instincts, your chivalric programming, your desperate need to be needed, and flips you onto your back. You think you are the powerful one, the rescuer, but the rescuer is always tethered to the one he saves. The doctor is a slave to his patient's disease. Kierkegaard saw this sickness in the public square a century and a half ago. He lamented the man who loses himself by becoming a role, a professor, a husband, a somebody, until the mask eats the face. In this private theater, the dynamic is even more potent. You have ceased to be a man, a messy, contradictory, evolving human being. You are a function. Your role is the fixer. Her role is the beautifully broken. And any deviation from the script is met with a subtle, powerful punishment. Confusion, disappointment, the withdrawal of that intoxicating, validating need. Try being the one who is weak for a day. Try being the one who needs saving. See how the play grinds to a halt. See how the stage lights flicker and die. The audience, of her, does not know what to do with this new character. It was not in the program. There is a strange, almost comical story I once heard whispered about a lonely king who fell in love not with a woman, but with her marionette. He saw the puppet dance so full of life and tragic grace, and he coveted it. He commanded the puppeteer, an old woman with gnarled hands, to give him the doll. He took it to his chambers, sat it on a velvet chair, and spoke to it of his burdens. But the marionette just stared, limp and lifeless. Its magic was gone. Frustrated, the king summoned the old woman and demanded to know why she had given him a dead thing. The puppeteer smiled a toothless grin and said, "Your Majesty, you did not fall in love with the doll. You fell in love with the strings. And I was the one pulling them. This perfect weakness is the string. It is the carefully managed crisis, the artful sigh of exhaustion, the tear that falls at the precise moment your resolve begins to harden. It is the phone call in the middle of the night about a drama so convoluted, so exquisitely trivial, that only a hero could untangle it. And you, my friend, always wanted to be the hero. She knows this. She learned it from fairy tales, from movies, from the very air she breathes. A 2023 study on covert control tactics in relationships called this weaponized incompetence. But that sounds so sterile, so clinical. It fails to capture the sheer artistry of it. The grotesque beauty of a wolf playing the part of a lost lamb so convincingly that the shepherd begs it to come into the fold. The trap here is that her weakness makes you feel strong, while in reality, it is sapping your very life force. Every problem of hers you solve is one less ounce of energy you have for your own. Every fire you put out in her life leaves you smelling of smoke. You are so busy being her anchor that you forget you were meant to be a ship with your own maps and your own oceans to cross. You have mistaken the feeling of being needed for the feeling of being loved. They are not the same. One is a partnership. The other is a hostage situation with better lighting. So, let me pull back the curtain for you. Look at yourself, standing there under the hot lights. Your costume feeling a little tight around the chest. What is the name of your character in this two-person play? The wise provider, the patient saint, the untouchable man of reason? Say the name aloud, just to yourself. And now tell me this, and be brutally honest. When was the last time you went off script? The greatest treasure a man can own is a quiet mind, and she is the most beautiful thief he will ever meet. Listen. No. Don't just hear the hum of your device or the traffic outside. Listen deeper. Underneath all that noise, can you feel it? A vast, profound, and terrifying silence. It is the canvas upon which all thought is painted. It is the womb of every great idea, every moment of genuine self-discovery. It is your oldest, most loyal companion, and you have been taught to fear it. You have been trained to fill it at all costs. This is the third truth, the one that mourns a stolen inheritance. The chase, the relationship, the drama, it is not just a distraction. It is a war against your own inner silence. It is a systematic dismantling of your solitude. Before her, your solitude was your own. It might have been lonely, yes. It might have been tinged with the metallic taste of unrealized dreams. But it was a sovereign territory, a place where you could hear yourself think, where you could sit with a feeling long enough to understand its shape, where you could read a book and let the words settle deep in your bones, instead of having them scatter like startled birds at the ping of a new message. This solitude is not emptiness. It is potentiality. It is the rich, dark soil from which the oak of a man's character must grow. Then the beautiful thief arrives. She does not arrive with a sword, but with a melody, a constant, low-level hum of interaction. Good morning texts that stake a claim on your first thoughts of the day. Good night calls that demand to be your last. The endless stream of shared memes, inside jokes, small complaints, and breathless updates. Each one is a small stone tossed into the placid lake of your mind, and the ripples never, ever cease. Nietzsche spoke of the tarantulas, the preachers of equality who poison the souls of the free-spirited. This is a different kind of venom, sweeter and far more insidious. It's the venom of constant connection. It creates a new hunger, a hunger for validation, for response, for the little dopamine hit of her name lighting up your screen. You begin to mistake her sighing for your own life. The silence, when it occasionally returns, when she is busy or angry, is no longer peaceful. It is deafening. It is a sign of absence, of a problem. You have become addicted to the disruption. You have forgotten the feel of your own untroubled baseline. Have you ever heard the mountain tales of the glom, the echo eater? It was said to be a spirit that looked like a wisp of smoke, drawn to solitary travelers. It wouldn't attack them, not physically. It would simply follow them. And every time the travelers stopped to rest in the profound silence of the peaks, the glom would whisper back the man's own last words, his own fears, his own shallow thoughts, over and over, until the silence itself felt haunted and unbearable. The man would start talking, singing, shouting, anything to drown out the echo spirit, and he would run back down to the noisy village, his mind a frantic mess, having lost the very peace he went to the mountains to find. That is what this becomes. Your own mind, once a mountain peak, becomes a noisy, haunted village. You can no longer sit with your own thoughts because they are immediately fed into the machine of the we. Your triumphs are not your own until they are validated by her praise. Your sorrows are not processed in quiet contemplation. They are immediately outsourced for her comfort. Recent neurological studies, the ones they write about in glossy magazines in 2025, show how our brains literally rewire to anticipate social feedback, pruning the neural pathways that support deep, solitary reflection. We are becoming creatures who cannot think alone. And here is the fragile, fleeting hope, buried deep in the darkness. You can steal it back, a minute at a time. The choice to not immediately share a thought, the discipline to leave your phone in another room for an hour, the courage to take a walk with no destination and no digital tether, to reclaim a small patch of that sovereign territory. At first, it will feel like withdrawal. It will feel like hell. The silence will scream at you. But if you can endure it, you will begin to hear something else underneath. A quiet, familiar voice. Your own. So here is my challenge to you, whispered so as not to disturb the quiet. Tonight or tomorrow, find 15 minutes. Just 15. Go into a room, alone. No phone, no music, no book, no distractions. And just sit. Do nothing. Listen to the silence you have been running from. See who or what comes crawling out of it when the noise finally stops. Are you brave enough to meet yourself again? The moment you see the crack in the thing you worship, you have two choices. Go blind or get a hammer. Imagine a statue. A perfect, life-sized statue carved from a single piece of flawless porcelain. It stands in the center of your life's most sacred room. The craftsmanship is divine. It looks like it was sculpted by angels and polished with moonlight. It is the image of her, the idealized version, the key, the anchor, the enchantress. You spend your days dusting it, protecting it, speaking to it. You burn incense at its feet. You have rearranged your entire existence around the viewing angles of this beautiful silent thing. It is your greatest work of art. One day, a stray sunbeam hits it at just the right angle, and you see it. A hairline crack, running from the gentle curve of its smile down to its elegant throat, almost invisible. Your first instinct is denial. It's a trick of the light, a flaw in your own vision. You rush to cover it, to patch it, to turn the statue so the crack faces the wall. But you know it's there. The knowledge of it hums under your skin. This is the fourth truth, the one that smells of decay and liberation. The disillusionment, the grotesque and necessary shattering of the ideal you worshipped. because you lean in closer to that tiny crack, compelled by a morbid curiosity you can't suppress. And from it, you smell something foul, something cloying and sweet, like rotting fruit. And then you see it. A single black fly crawls out of the crack, cleans its legs on the porcelain cheek of your goddess, and takes flight. And you realize, with a nausea that starts in your soul and floods your entire body, that the statue is not solid porcelain. It is a hollow shell, and it is filled to the brim with flies. Congratulations. You didn't fall in love with a woman. You fell in love with a beautiful symptom of your own cowardice. The statue was never her. It was the effigy you built to avoid seeing the real, flawed, messy, difficult, and sometimes deeply unattractive human being who stands beside you. And to be fair, she probably helped you build it. It's easier to be worshipped as a statue than loved as a person. A statue has no responsibilities. It doesn't have to grow or change or be accountable. It just has to be beautiful and still. This is the crash that Schopenhauer would have savored with a grim smile. The moment the will to life, the blind, striving biological urge, rips off its pretty mask of romantic love and shows its true, terrifying face. The purpose of the chase was procreation, continuation, the blind will of the species using you as its puppet. Now that the goal is achieved or the illusion is no longer sustainable, the machinery is exposed. The flowers wither, revealing the gears and pistons underneath. In Jewish folklore, there is the story of the Golem of Prague, a giant made of clay, brought to life to be a protector. It was powerful, obedient, a perfect servant. But it was a creature of mud, without a soul. And eventually, without the proper guidance, it became a mindless, destructive monster, turning on the very people it was built to save. Your porcelain idol is a golem. You animated it with your own needs, your own fantasies. You wrote the word emet, truth, on its forehead. Now you see the truth is that it's just clay, or worse, a hollow shell filled with the buzzing chaos of neurosis, unmet expectations, and shared delusions. The flies are the petty arguments, the passive aggressions, the silences that are not peaceful, but pregnant with contempt. The liberation here is not gentle. It is not an amicable parting of ways. It is an exorcism. It is the gut-wrenching realization that the heaven you built was always just a beautifully decorated prison cell. And the angel you shared it with was just another prisoner, equally terrified, rattling her own chains and calling it music. The horror and the freedom are one and the same. The horror is that your love was a lie. The freedom is that you no longer have to perform the rituals to sustain it. You can stop dusting the damn statue. So here is my challenge. And this one is not a whisper. It's a sneer. That crack you've been ignoring, the little inconsistency, the flash of coldness in her eyes, the lie you caught her in, but pretended to believe. Stop pretending. Stop patching it. I want you to walk up to it and look right into it. See the swarm inside. The hammer has been in your hand this entire time. I'm not telling you to smash her. That's the coward's way out. I'm daring you to smash the idol, to shatter the perfect porcelain lie you've been worshiping. Are you man enough to love what's left in the rubble? Or better yet, are you man enough to walk away from it? The man who can endure his own company is a king without a throne, and he is invincible. A poem for the man left among the shards. The idol falls, a porcelain sigh. The flies disperse into the sky. The room is bare, the air is cold. A story that is finally told. And in the silence, vast and deep, a promise you alone can keep. After the crash, after the flies have fled, after the nausea subsides. What is left? Not peace, not at first. What's left is the most terrifying thing a modern man can face. An absolute, undiluted, echoing emptiness. The room you built is no longer a cage or a shrine. It is just a room, empty, and you are in it, alone. This is the final, most haunting truth. The liberation you gain when you stop the chase is not a warm, joyful freedom. It is a cold, stark, Arctic freedom. It is the freedom of a man who has survived a shipwreck and washed ashore on a deserted island. He's alive. He is free from the sinking ship. But he is utterly, terrifyingly alone. There is no one to applaud his survival. There are no maps. There is no easy source of comfort. There is only the wind, the sky, the endless water, and the stark, brutal, glorious fact of his own existence. This is the state that Fromm argued we flee from, but which the existentialists saw as the very starting point of an authentic life. This is not loneliness. Loneliness is a deficiency. It is the pain of lacking company. What you are experiencing is aloneness. It is a state of being. It is sovereignty. It is the terrifying realization that the only person responsible for your survival, your happiness, your meaning, is the stranger you see in the mirror. There is no one to blame, no one to rescue, no one to be rescued by. The entire theater has been dismantled, and you are left standing on the bare, splintered boards of the stage. For a while, the silence will feel like a wound. You will be haunted by the ghosts of conversations, by the muscle memory of reaching for your phone, by the phantom feeling of another person's weight in your bed. Your nervous system, conditioned for years to the chaotic symphony of another's emotional state, will scream in protest at the sudden quiet. This is the detoxification. It is the pain of a bone being reset correctly after healing wrong for years. You must endure it, and then slowly, something changes. You begin to notice things you had forgotten. The way the late afternoon light falls across the floor. The taste of your own coffee, brewed exactly how you like it. You pick up a book, a real one, with yellowing pages. And the author's voice is the only one in your head. You go for a walk, and your thoughts don't circle the drain of someone else's moods. They wander, they explore, they create. You are not filling a void. You are discovering that you were never empty to begin with. You were just occupied. A house rented out to a noisy tenant for far too long. Now the owner has returned. This is the strange, quiet power that radiates from a man who has made peace with his own solitude. He's not needy. He's not seeking a reflection. He moves through the world with a different center of gravity. He can engage with a woman now, not as a key or an idol, but as another sovereign island. He can appreciate her beauty without needing to possess it. He can enjoy her company without being devoured by it. He has nothing to prove because his worth is no longer up for negotiation. It is generated internally. He has become a king in a kingdom of one. This is the ultimate paradox. By finally, truly letting go of the desperate need for her, you become the kind of man she might have been authentically drawn to in the first place. But by the time you reach this shore, you realize you no longer need her to be. Your happiness is no longer contingent. And that, my friend, is a power they can never, ever take from you. You have stopped chasing the thing that destroys you, and in its place, you have found the only thing that can ever truly save you, yourself. The emptiness is not a void. It is a clearing. It is the sacred space where you can finally begin to build a life that is truly your own.